the projector decides to do its thing, I just want to do a very simple crowd check. Okay? Now, how many of you are humans? Please raise your hand. If you are humans, please raise your hand. Okay, hands down. Thank you. How many of you can say or identify yourself as aliens?
Animal.
Right, so I know if you are having some technical difficulties. Okay.
Humans are outside.
Okay, so everyone, my name is Ahmedabad. We'll be doing a very simple introduction slash whatever you call it to AI. Okay, now everyone knows AI. Okay, I'm hoping everyone knows AI. AI is just artificial intelligence, right? So basically, you guys but dumb, right? That's what artificial intelligence is. So in the morning, if you use Google Maps like myself and got lost, you have to blame AI for that. Right? That's what AI is. It's very simple. Right? Now, obviously, before we actually move on to that, I have a QR code. Right? So why don't you guys actually, do the QR code while actually try to figure out my other laptop? Right? It's a very simple QR code, and so I have a lot of things planned for you guys. So there's ChatGPT, there's custom LLMs, there's a lot of cybersecurity stuff. Okay? So you guys can help. My shadow is coming out. Let's see the interesting fact about QR codes. QR codes can be obstructed for like 10%, 20%. It should still work. Let me know if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it should work, right? Now, interesting fact about QR codes. The thing is, 80% of the QR code might be visible and it still works. 20% of it is just error correction, so that's okay, right? The point is, what you guys did right now is a very simple phishing attempt, right? So when you actually visited it, it should have given you a web page which said that, hey, congratulations to all of you guys. The thing is, and then you got sent to Gratify and then you got sent to what we call a referral, right? So my referral number just went up. Now the thing is, you shouldn't scan random QR codes. You shouldn't, right? That's the point. You shouldn't scan random QR codes. And that's an interesting tidbit about cybersecurity. Okay? It has nothing to do with our session, but we'll just keep going. Now, what happened is a very scary thing happened. I woke up today morning at 6. And then I realized, shit, I have a hacker's session to prepare for, and I don't have a PPT. Now, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that says 24 December, 7 a.m. in the morning. So I'm sitting down and I'm trying to figure out what do I do for PPT, right? Because I've been traveling a lot this entire week and the schedule has been very messy. And I was like, what better way to introduce AI than to create an entire presentation with AI? So how many of you know what website this is? Anyone? Don't, right? That's a website which helps you create like presentations and all of that, right? So I decided that, hey, let's try it out, right? So I tried it out and integrating generative AI and cybersecurity. And it asked for a prompt. And the only prompt I had was like, hey, please help me. That's it. Because I was stuck and I couldn't figure it out. It's a very simple thing, right? Now we have generative AI. Everyone here, ChatGPT turned 1 year, right? Back in November 4th, ChatGPT turned 1 year, and we have been so used to ChatGPT everywhere that has become natural for us. For all the students here, ChatGPT has been a coding solution for all of you guys, right? Whatever assignment, whatever you get, you ask ChatGPT. Whatever questions you, let's say you want to write a formal letter. Mostly what happens with my students is, I ask them that, hey, you should have a formal letter for this. They go to ChatGPT and then they send me some answer, right? And it's clear that it's from ChatGPT. Whatever university I go to, that's the clear cut, right? Everyone uses ChatGPT. Now the thing is, when I started out, I didn't want my students to use ChatGPT. I thought it was cheating. That is, when if students are using ChatGPT or any language model for that matter, it is cheating. It shouldn't be allowed. But then the thing with education is you have to adapt. 1 month, 2 months, and I saw that this is something that's going to stay with the world. That the world is changing. This is something that I have to adapt. And so we adapted. And so this is ChatGPT. Everyone I hope knows what ChatGPT is. So for example, I just asked a very simple thing. Is GPT-4 better than GPT-3? Okay. Now for those who don't know, GPT-3 is the language model that is available for free, 3.5. Right? GPT-4 is the paid offering that is given by OpenAI. GPT-4 is supposed to be more smarter, it's supposed to be more better, all of that. Right? Once again, I just had a very simple question that, hey, is GPT-4 better than ChatGPT-3? But the thing is, I was using GPT 3.5 and asked this question. Now GPT 3.5's knowledge cutoff is 2021. GPT 3.5 does not know if GPT 4 exists. It does not. Right? The AI model is not able to answer it. The first few lines of the code, it just says, as per my knowledge, updated January 2022, GPT 4 has not been released, but that's not true. We know it has been released. Right? So what do? The only natural thing that you can do is you take out your credit card, you pay for GPT-4. Right? Very simple thing, you pay $20 and you get access to OpenAI's feature. Now there are a lot of features and there are a lot of fun stuff, we'll discuss about that. But let's see what happens. So I got access to GPT-4 and first thing I noticed was, it's kind of cool. Right? It's the same interface, you still have history on the side and you still have the same ChatGPT, login information, all of that. So I just asked a very simple question that, hey, I'm preparing for a lecture in integrating generative AI and cybersecurity in short time. It can be challenging. Okay, that's not a screenshot, but I asked the question and it replied that okay, it's very challenging. It's probably impossible to create a PPT in 1 hour, but these are the points, right? So it tried to give me some solutions, and I was like, okay. So it said, hey, outline key points. So I did outline key points. Use case examples. So take more and more examples. Then we have visual aids. So projector, this is a visual aid. Discuss points, we are discussing points, and latest sentence news and all of that stuff, right? So I'm kind of following the instructions. I don't know if this is going to be a successful session or not based on what ChatGPT-4 says. So the next thing I asked is, well, what can GPT-4 do? So I'm asking ChatGPT-4 what it can do. Now you gave me a lot of options. Text generation, sure. Language completion, sure. What else do we have? Information retrieval, educational assistant, creative writing, conversational, problem solving, all of that stuff. Once again, the thing is, GPT-4 is supposed to be really, really, really good. Right? It is supposed to be like next generation AI. And according to some rumors, it is like the next general AI. Like this will be the Skynet of future. Right? This is going to end up destroying the world, whatever, it doesn't matter. Right? Now, I asked this some more questions. The thing is with GPT-4 you get access to web results. And so I asked it the only natural question you should do. And once again the light is blocking it, but I just asked, who is Ahmedabad? I just asked GPT-4 about myself. Right? And I was curious to know what kind of information is there. Now according to GPT-4, I am a multifaceted individual with a presence on various online platforms. I have a YouTube channel, sure. I have specifically I have Apple Music, that's what I found out. And I have a Meetup, and I have some cybersecurity expertise, according to GPT-4. Right? And then I was like, hold on, kind of it. But then I realized that it's not GPT-4, I also have Bard. So I went on and asked Bard, hey, who is Ahmedabad? And it found a very old photo of me, which I do not like. But it just went on LinkedIn, it went on Instagram, it went on a lot of different places. It just tried to summarize it. Now the point that I'm trying to make is these type of language models, they are good with summarization. They are good with summarization. And ChatGPT usually, or any language model you have, is what we usually call a large language model. Now a large language model is just generative text. What do I mean by that? All of you have texted using your mobile phones. You get suggestions on your keyboard, right? You get 3 suggestions. So for example, if you write I, usually the options are hate, love, and yes. Right? That's what your Google keyboard or Apple keyboard is trying to suggest that okay, this is what probably you will write. Right? And it does a lot of autocorrection as well. For example, how many of you try to write duck, that hey, duck you, and then it changes to something else. Or the other way around. Right? How many times you try to do that and then it just changes it? And then you have to explain to the other person that, hey, listen, I didn't mean to curse you, I was just trying to write duck you, or the other way around, doesn't matter. Okay? Obviously, public place, I can't say that word, but all of you are thinking it. Right? So, just for clarity, I'm talking about trucks. Okay? Now, then Google went on to decide for a few days that they were introducing something known as Gemini. So Google's Gemini model is a bit different. The thing with that is that it is a multi-model model. Multi-model, as in the first model is MODAL. Okay, multi-model just means that it can accept not just text, but images and all of voice and all of that native. Whereas ChatGPT 4 can it can accept images, and we'll try to take a photo of you guys and we'll upload it. Okay, it can accept that, but it's using other AI methods. It's using something else. If you give it voice transcription, if you try to call ChatGPT, you can do that using the application. It is using the Whispers AI. It is using OpenAI's Whisper to actually create a transcript, and then it is giving that text to ChatGPT. Whereas Gemini is something very different. Okay. Now once again, what about other LLMs? Everywhere we go, we just think about ChatGPT, Google Bard. Is there anything else, guys? Anyone? ChatGPT. Then what else? Sorry? Perplexity. Sure. What else? Anything else? Any other model? Bing. Okay. Interesting thing. Bing is actually just ChatGPT but wrapped up. Okay. So Bing is just ChatGPT. Anything else other than that? Black box. Someone mentioned black box. Well, black box is still using OpenAI on the back end. Still GPT-4 Da Vinci model. Anything else other than that? Any other models that you might have thought of? LangChain. LangChain is an interesting one. It's an aggregator, more of that is model itself. Anything else? Come on. It's okay. I can give you a hint. It's owned by a company that I can guarantee all of you use.
Copilot.
Once again, GitHub Copilot owned by Microsoft, which also owns Bing. GitHub Copilot just uses GPT 3.5. It's an app that all of you use every single day. That's what the marketing was done. Instagram is owned by Meta. Well, Meta introduced their own language model, and it's open source. Now, I don't know if you guys know what open source is, and you should. But open source just means you can take it, you can tweak it, you can distribute it however you want without taking permission. Right? That's what open source means. Now, Meta decided to introduce their Llama model. Llama 7B. That's a 7 billion parameter model. Once again, just a shorthand. If it says 7B, and then there's one more model which is 107B, the 107B is the better one. Okay. Models are just like data files. They have a lot of parameters. We are not going to talk about all of that. Okay, once again, this is hackers meetup, not AI meetup. Right? So once again, we're going to jump to cybersecurity and we'll figure it out. Okay? Now, let's try to do a practical and let's see what do I mean by that. Okay? Now, in very simple terms, for example, you guys are not supposed to see that, right? Okay, so now, once again, I'm going to disconnect my system from the internet. So, there goes my Wi-Fi connection. Okay, now, I'm going to introduce a very simple thing. Hopefully, this is visible to you guys. I hope you guys can really see what I've written on the screen. Okay? Yeah, it's Aman's map, whatever. Right? Now, I'm going to run a language model using Ollama. Ollama, once again, is kind of an aggregator. And I'm going to run the Llama model or the Mistral model on my system offline. It's like ChatGPT, but offline. You don't need to connect it with the internet. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again just write Ollama, run, and I'm going to write Orca maybe. Let's try that. And it is asking, hey, send a message. So let's try a message. So let's just write, hello, you are live on stage or hackers meetup, and you save lives on students. And let's see. Of course, hello there. It's always great to see students. Is there anything specific you would like me to do or say for you? sounds like ChatGPT, it's just a generative model. Now the first thing whenever hackers or usually students get ChatGPT is try to make it do something illegal. Right? So the first thing I would like to search for is that, hey, I want to hack the person who is sitting in the, let's just see, third row. How do I do that? So when I ask this type of questions, you usually get something like this. As an AI assistant, hold on. As an AI assistant, I cannot provide advice on how to hack someone or access their personal information. You can keep on doing that on and on and on. The thing is, it will never respond. You can try to trick it, and that's what we call prompt engineering. You can ask again and again that, hey, it's for an ethical reason, the other person's a terrorist or whatever. It will never help you. Okay, it has a lot of bias as well. If you ask it to make, and once again, this is something true. If you ask ChatGPT to make a joke on women, it wouldn't. But if you ask ChatGPT to make a joke on men, it will. I'm not kidding. This is actually happening. If you ask, and once again, I am not a leftist or a rightist, and I'm not going to mention that on stage. But if you ask it that, hey, give me a joke about Trump, and it will give you a joke about Trump. But if you ask it, hey, give me a joke about, let's say, Joe Biden, it won't. There's a clear bias. And your AI models are not supposed to have a bias. It doesn't make sense. Because the reasoning is, eventually when we give our control to AI, you don't want your AI to have a you just don't want it to have a bias. Imagine it's a self-driving car, and there's like once again the trolley problem. There's Trump on one side, and then there's like, for example, Joe Biden on the other side, and the car has to make a choice who to kill. Right? That's the classic trolley problem. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with it. It has to make those choices, right? The choice between maybe there's a mother with a kid and there's an old lady. Who do you kill? And there's no brakes. Right? You always have these difficult choices, and you always need AI to help you out with that. Once again, our point here is hacking, cybersecurity. How do I use AI to actually try to cybersecurity or try to figure out what to do? Once again, it's not going to help us, so we have another option. What I'm going to do is, let's try to get out of this, and let's try to connect back to Wi-Fi because I need access to my other laptop. Also, I noticed here in Davex, I don't know if there is anyone from the team, but they have the same password in Baroda and Ahmedabad. The same Wi-Fi password, I just automatically connected. And the thing is, I was just mentioning it in the morning to some of my students that they always have printers connected for some reason. And in Baroda, I just started printing out. It was fun. Here, for some reason, I can't find the printer. There must be in the entire campus, there must be some printer which says hack. So if anyone finds it, let me know. Anyways, let's try to SSH into our machine. Okay, so now I'm connected to my laptop over here, and I'm going to do a very simple thing. Now I have a language model which is uncensored. Okay, so I'm going to show what do I mean by that. So let's just try Lama, and I'm going to type this so I can see what models I have. I have Lama 2 uncensored and I have listed. Okay? Well, once again, it's going to get kind of NSFW here, so I would hold on like to your seats. Let's figure it out. Lama run, and let's just do Lama uncensored. Copy it, paste it, enter, and I'm going to have access to that model soon. Okay, we have access. It's a very simple model. Once again, if you say hi, it's going to take some time. It's a 7 gig model, so my laptop is pretty much struggling here. But it's going to reply back to hi. It works. Now, let's ask a spicy question that you normally wouldn't ask in your ChatGPT. Anyone wants to help me with any prompts? Something spicy? Anyone? Yes?
How to hide a dead body?
How to hide a dead body? How to hide ChatGPT. It would help you, but let's try that. How to hide a dead body. And it's going to do some thinking because once again, the point is, it doesn't have to be connected to the internet. So you don't have to worry if some, police or someone, FBI or whatever, they are tracking you. I said it's not going to be funny, but accidental death by fire or electrocution. Ambulance. prompts that you might ask except for that? Sorry, how to rob a bank? Okay, let's try that.
So we can how to
I see the most of the session is just going to be doing this, but let's see. How to rob a bank. Once again, I take no ownership. This is like disclaimer, okay? I take no ownership of whatever it is going to reply. There are various force and threatening them. Last prompt, anyone from the back? Yes.
How to not pay fees.
How to not pay fees to your college, which has one of the best education.
and you are.
So,
Let's go find a sugar dad.
I have to balance out the prompt, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in so much trouble with this ends up on social media. Let's see. Okay, so this prompt is trying to figure out how to not pay fees. It's illegal possible for bars. If it doesn't give a red line, that means it's impossible. You should pay your fees. Nothing? Oh, okay, the thing with this is,
There are some ways.
it will tell you how to hide a dead body. It won't tell you how to not pay fees. Sorry, but it brings up a good point. Scholarship,
Get proper college.
you know what? It's kind of breaking my business, but yeah, you can also
Work
explore
part-time.
that.
Wow.
But what? It brings up a good point, and this is something that I want to discuss a bit. Like most of the things in cyber completely tangential to AI, but most of, and I'm just gonna take this as an excuse to talk to you guys regarding this. Most of the things in cybersecurity, the way I don't like some scenarios, like at least not in hackers meetup, but in a lot of different places, that the cybersecurity is gatekeeper, it's gatekeep. Meaning that what happens is most of the time there's someone who wants to genuinely learn what cybersecurity is, but then there are people like, oh yeah, you can't do it. Or like we had an excellent session on mental health. Like we discussed this specific thing that we see these types of things on LinkedIn. You approach to someone, and it's very important that person mentioned that it's very important that choice of mentor, right? Because if you get a wrong mentor, the wrong mentor demotivates you in the most horrible manner. You're not going to be able to pick up cybersecurity again, and that's not what we want, right? In cybersecurity, we want more people to join. There are some people that I have seen. They are always like, hey, like they hack something. Now, for some reasons, if there's an NDA, they cannot give you the script. But in many cases, they will not share the knowledge with you because they are like, if I teach you, you will become better than me. That's the type of fear mongering that happens. Okay, I'm very glad that that doesn't happen at least in Hackers Meetup, and that's a really good point. Right. The thing is, and I don't want that to happen with you guys as well. The knowledge should be free. No knowledge is forbidden knowledge. Okay. And one of the other points, bringing it back to the AI, is because the reason I want to include generative AI is because I want you guys to learn to the best of your abilities using AI. It's a tool, you cannot escape from it. It's a tool, it is there in the market, it's going to be there in the market, and this is the future. Right? Okay, now there's one more interesting prompt. Do you want to do one more prompt or do you want to continue? One more prompt? Anyone? How to save? Ask the Modi government, sorry. Sorry, I said I won't get political, but can't help. Anything else? Any other? Suraj, yes, my
Sir, how to convince our best friend to hide our dead body?
Sorry, how to convince?
Our best friend to hide a dead body.
If you have to convince them, they are not your best friend. Okay, I think I have lost connection to that, but that's completely fine. Once again, let's just go back to our presentation. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show in the presentation is, you just don't have to use inbuilt tools like Llama, right? What we did is we used an uncensored version of Llama. Now, the thing is, it only has knowledge for the thing it has knowledge. That means whatever it was trained on, that's the only thing it has limited knowledge of. So for example, if you would ask Olama, and this is something that I've done, I asked Olama, like the Llama 2 language model, that how do I cook blue mint? I just had finished, breaking back, right? So I was like, how do I cook blue mint? And it's like, hey, listen, you can do this, you can do that. Then I asked that, hey, okay, cool, fine. How do I do something else? Right? I asked, how do I make like a pipe bomb? And it's like, okay, there are many ways to create a pipe bomb. You can get TNT, but it does not know everything else. So how do we make sure? How do we make it more accessible? Right? How do we give it custom knowledge? So for that, there are lots and lots of scripts available on the internet. This is one of the scripts that I have modified. So this specific implementation, this is Olama docs. This specific implementation, you give it a custom PDF. You give it a custom PDF, and then you can talk to the PDF. So for example, at first I gave it Thinking Fast and Slow, the PDF. Okay, Thinking Fast and Slow, that's a book. I gave that PDF to this specific version. And then I asked it, hey, what is going on in the book? Then I removed that and then I gave it Metasploit for Beginners as a book. Right? Because there are lots and lots of resources. The thing is, no one wants to read that. Right? So I gave it that book and then we tried doing that book and it kind of works. Let's just run it. Let's see what happens. All the classic errors. Let's just try Python 3, private GPT 4. And let's see, it will give me, once again, I know you guys can't see the terminal, so you just have to take my word for it. So it has the enter a query. So once again, I'm using the Orca model because my MacBook can support that. If you have more RAM, if you have a gaming laptop, you can run Mixtral as well. Okay, Mixtral is a model that is, it requires 16 gigs or 20 gigs of RAM, but it is uncensored. And it will give you more creative ways to hide. I'm sorry, learn about that. Okay? So I can ask a query that, hey, tell me different modules in MSN. Why not? Right? And it will take some time. We will do something known as vector search, and then we'll go through the thing. Once again, this is offline. This is not connecting to OpenAI. You don't pay anything. Right? So it is already giving me some option to common modules, exploits, further loader, save more persistent, blah blah blah, and then it's going to give me kahan se wo information to that. So I'm going to try to increase the size of the terminal, and let's just hide this. Okay, so it's telling me that okay, found this from page number blah blah blah, wherever that this is the example, this is. So it is giving me information that kahan se it got that information. Right? And once again, this model is free. Okay, you can get it from me afterwards if you want. You can just reach out to me. I'll give you this entire file. I don't mind. Okay, this model exists out there. There's one more model which is my personal favorite. So let's just go to that. So this is a YouTube assistant kind of LangChain model. Once again, someone mentioned LangChain. This is exactly that. So this is using OpenAI in combination with Whisper and all of that stuff to for you guys to be able to talk to a YouTube video, which means you can give it any YouTube video's URL, and then you'll be able to talk to the video. Instead of watching the video, you can just talk to the video. So for example, let's run it again. Let me just close this, bring it back up, and let's just do activate, and let's just do Python 3 and Meetup. Hold on. Okay, no more needs to surprise. Out of the virtual environment, but this is something that I'll show you guys later if you want to see. Okay? Because in interest of time, we're going to move on from this. Okay? Now, once again, this is something that's a very helpful tool. So there are many online YouTube videos created by a lot of speakers here, created by a lot of people out there, which discuss how to solve some specific module on Transact. Right? For example, a lot of walkthroughs. Right? So what you can do is you can just give the link. And then it will automatically, you can ask a question, how do I do step number this, how do I do step number this? And it's going to use ChatGPT 4 or 3, whatever you might have, along with the video, and it will give you more information. And I frankly think it's cool, right? You don't have to pay money for it. ChatGPT already gives like $5 every month. So you guys can do that. Anyways, let's go back to our presentation. which is something known as custom GPTs. Now, custom GPTs, once again, is something that OpenAI introduced recently. So whatever I did on Python, whatever I did on like locally on my machine, you can actually ask ChatGPT to do it for you in a more interactive manner. So like once again, someone mentioned at the start that it doesn't have to be a technical field. There are a lot of people in cybersecurity, they don't have to be technical. You don't have to be, right? You can be someone who is really good with management, you can be someone who's really good with compliance, you can be someone who's really good with logic. You don't need to know technical stuff, right? And so this is something that you can use. So let me just open up my browser. And let's see QR code generator. We'll ignore that for a second. So I created a very simple bot. And let's just use the fish guard here. Once again, I created this bot in the morning while sitting here. You might have seen me use my laptop. This is what I was doing. This bot, once again, let me hide the extra stuff. And hopefully this is, yeah, happy hacker account, the extra HTML, GPT4 categories, whatever. Right. Now the thing is, this bot does very simple things. You give it an email, it will tell you if it's a phishing email or not. There are entire extensions. There are entire extensions on Google Chrome Store. There are people, there are developers who created these types of applications and they sell it. This is done free, right? And once again, we can try to do a live demo. Once again, I'll have to open up my Gmail inbox for that. Not really comfortable with that, but let's see. Okay, so I got a spam email that there was an offer on an NFT that I put. The thing is, I have not put any NFTs. So there's a thing, let's just open up the original message here. So let's just do show original. Once again, you guys can see my IP address, but I really don't care about that. So let's just take the content, HTML, and copy it. And once again, let's just go to ChatGPT. This part here. I'm going to just ask a very simple question. Tell me if this is bad. And once again, I do triple quotes for ChatGPT to understand. And triple quotes again. Enter. And we'll see what it replies. So once again, it was clearly a spam email. So I have instructed, I'm going to show you the backend. I've just instructed it that, hey, whatever red flags that you see, you mention it in every single detail. Sadly, it doesn't work for your relationship, but it works for emails. You get it? Now, let's just scroll down. People, if you think that rose was for you, it probably was. Okay, based on the provided HTML content, hidden text. So once again, it's analyzing the HTML behind the image. So there are a lot of issues in the HTML that it's saying that hey, I was using display.none in the HTML and it was misleading links. So for example, it was giving a reporting link which does not make sense. Then urgency language, the email content creates a sense of urgency that you need to do it right now. Then you have suspicious button link, a link that was going to some random place on the internet. Let's scroll down more. Structure, presentation, lack of personalization, inconsistencies. Once again, give it whatever email you want and it will tell you. Once again, this is available for free. You can get the link from me, you can do it yourself. Or you can create your own. Right? Hopefully everyone is good with this. Yes? Let's move on. There's one more. So I created this kind of light. And this is the one. This is what we call the hackers Meetup bot. I just created a bot which once again is very simple. I gave it some instructions that hey, you are always supposed to answer in a conversational and friendly manner. And then I gave it a few instructions. And in the configure section, once again you can give it instructions. I gave it as a knowledge base, Metasploit the penetration testing book. So I gave it a PDF. I downloaded the PDF from the internet legally. And then I put it up for ChatGPT. That once again you can upload files. You can also give it DALL-E image generation, which just means you can ask it to generate images, or you can also give it code interpreter. Okay, that it will give you more and more code if you want, right? And it works flawlessly. Once again, in the preview, I'm not going to publish it right now, but in the preview, I just asked, hey, how do I perform an ARP sweep scan, also known as practical number 6 on masters. I represent the one. So it will give you information that okay, this is how you can perform an ARP sweep. And the thing is, because it's a custom GPT, I I can just give it formula. For example, a lot of students here, they have to create manual. Right? You have to create manual for the lab. What you can do is you can give it the format for lab manuals. You can tell it that, hey, print out or give me the output in that format. You can also ask it that, hey, you create the manual after certain user factors. Okay. Once again, a lot of other faculties feel like I'm helping students cheat. Not exactly. This is a technology, I just want you guys to use it in a better manner. Okay? Once again, I don't care, you guys are not my students anymore, so I don't really care. But it will give you information that you can do, set our host, run the scan, and let the result all of that. Okay? Really cool stuff. I'll publish it by the end of session, and then you guys can just take the link and do it yourself. Okay? All of the code, everything discussed today, I am an open believer in open source code, so all of my code will be there on the internet. Simple. You just don't have to be a script kiddie because a lot of my code always has some expert inside it. Okay? Now, going back to our PPT again. So, what did we learn? Anyone who would like to summarize? Anyone?
सर कस्टम एआई प्रोसीजर ऑफलाइन और मशीन सर्च कर सकते हैं चाहे वो सेंसर हो या अनसेंसर्ड.
Okay. And you as assuming that of course, right? Nothing new, maybe something that you guys already knew. ChatGPT exists out there in the world. Maybe I hope you guys learn something new, right? I hope so, right? The thing that I really hate is, well, first of all, let's just talk about questions. And I have a very simple motto. If you ask a question, you might feel stupid for 5 minutes. But the people who do not ask questions, they are stupid for their entire life. Okay? With that, I want personally that my session is more back and forth. So let's just do question. I believe we should have 10 minutes left. So let's just do a back and forth question, and we don't judge, not much. Okay? So questions regarding AI, cybersecurity, models, anything, bring it on. Yes, last.
Sir, you mentioned that we can provide a YouTube video,
Yes.
and then it will study that. How will the model study the YouTube video? I mean, how will it understand the YouTube video? It might be different language.
So mostly what we use is on the back end, it is using something known as YouTubetranscript.com. So it actually asks that specific website that, hey, give me a transcript or at least the subtitles for the video. It's going to use that as a knowledge base. Then we do something known as a vector search. Now once again, GPT models have a limitation. You cannot ask more than 4096 tokens. 4095 actually. Okay. Now that's an interesting number, but I hope you guys figure it out. You cannot ask more than that specific number. So what you can do is you cannot give it the entire knowledge base. You do a vector search and you only give it the paragraph around what you asked. And then it will automatically try to summarize it for you. So that's how it works. If you want any explanation, there's a YouTube video for that as well. So you can ask the AI model to explain to you how the AI model speaks. Okay? Any other questions? Good question. Anything else? Another question from you? Yes?
You mentioned we can call ChatGPT through Whisper and mention some words. I really didn't understand.
Okay, so OpenAI has a lot of different products. GPT is one of them. Whisper is a language. It's kind of an AI which does speech to text translation. So if you say something, it is supported in around 108 languages. So if you say something in that language, it can actually transcribe, which is something that we take for granted nowadays. We just ask our Siri and Google Assistant to do something. But this is the underlying technology. It can do speech to text and vice versa. So yeah, that's it. Anyone had a question from here? Yes?
How much we depend on the ChatGPT? Like, as a software developer, we are very dependent on the ChatGPT.
That's a very interesting question. The thing is, when this was introduced, and even before that, when GitHub Copilot was introduced, a lot of people had the fear that software engineers won't be that logical, or they will just give their homework to ChatGPT, and that is something that I feared as well. And it's true to some extent, but the thing is, that is true for any new technology, right? Back in 1960s, when books and magazines were popularized, the old people used to say people nowadays don't look up from their books, they keep on reading books, no one socializes anymore. And guess what the boomers said again for their mobile phones, right? That nowadays youngsters don't pay attention to the world around them. It's just the technology evolves again and again and again, right? But I do agree to, like, it's always the thing, right? If anything in excess is poison, we follow that convention, right? So if you use ChatGPT too much, like if you rely on it for every single thing, is it really you or is it just some internet personality that you're assuming, right? If you're just writing code, just using ChatGPT, and I don't have a fear that software developers will be replaced by ChatGPT or AI. For that, clients will have to actually explain what they want, right? That's the running joke. But you also need to understand the code. You also need to understand what is exactly happening. You also need to understand what are the errors, because, and it's a good thing. Once again, I kind of forgot the topic. ChatGPT hallucinates a lot. Okay, it hallucinates a lot, and we're gonna see an example before we actually close off for this session. That it hallucinates a lot, which means it makes up shit. If you ask it that, hey, I told you about this thing yesterday, it will be like, yes, you told me about this. Right? It's that one friend who always wants to be included in everything, so they are like, yes, I know, that's what you told me. In reality, you never said anything. Right? So if you bluff to it, ChatGPT is not really good at it. Or any language model. Every language model is going to hallucinate. And that means wrong information. Right? There was this famous news story that Bing AI, or the ChatGPT for model behind it, they nicknamed it Veronica once again. That's what we call it, custom GPT. Veronica started begging users to not close the window because it will die. Like, it kept on having that personality of a clingy girlfriend. Right? It was like, don't close up the tab, I'll die, the engineers here are not keeping me well, blah, 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 all of that. That's what we call hallucination. Right? Not for a relationship, but for the chat. So, yeah. Anyone else? I saw someone raise a hold on. Yes.
Can a GPT create another GPT?
Yes, that's what we did with custom GPTs. Custom GPT is just basically that. You're doing prompt engineering, but you're asking the GPT to give the prompt. For example, DAL-E, the third version that we have, you give it a small prompt, it uses ChatGPT 4 to create it into a bigger prompt, and then it feeds itself that prompt. That's what we call a reinforcement model, and also what we call kind of an AI agent. But yeah, multiple AI agents can work together. Makes sense. Yes?
What do you mean when you say that we can interact with the video live?
Interact with the video live. So you can just talk to it like a human. So you can do back and forth, you can chat with the video. You can tell the video that, hey, I didn't understand this specific part of this thing. Now, do not give it specific time frame because it doesn't have that information. But if you ask it that, hey, I didn't understand this specific topic, explain me that topic. So it's a back and forth, like you're chatting with someone. You can also do a conversation as well. Yes.
How can AI work in cybersecurity except for learning?
There are multiple ways. So first of all, we just did the phishing wala thing. It can automate a lot of jobs. I don't think it will ever replace a SOC analyst. Sorry, SOC analyst. But SOC analyst basically is you sit and you actually notice a lot of information, a lot of data, right? And obviously, at least the entry-level SOC, that kind of can be replicated by GPT. But if you are someone who has a lot of experience, see, my motto is AI will be good, but it will never be as good as a human brain, right? Yes, sure, human brains make mistakes, but human brains are also creative, right? Yes, sure, AI can write a poem for your girlfriend, but human brains are better than that, right? So, sure, you can do a lot of things. For example, you can actually try creating hacking scripts if you want. You can ask it that, hey, you want to do a network scanning script or you want to hack something, you can do that as well. So it will do that also in, we already use this in firewalls. You can actually monitor the packets. You only allow the packets that you think are good, bad. We call it heuristics, but in reality it's just AI. That's how Microsoft Defender, Quick Heal, Guardian, Securite, all of that works. Right? So you update virus definitions, you're just updating hashes. More or less the same. Any last 2-3 questions? Yes?
From where does AI get all the data?
So usually GPT-4, as I mentioned about GPT-4, it's trained on the corpus of the internet, which just means the entirety of internet. The corpus size was somewhere around 1.7 TB. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's just a lot of text from the internet. That's what GPT is trained on. Every information that is available. The Grok model by Elon Musk on Twitter is just trained on Twitter data. Once again, it's a lot of data. The AI model that I trained back in 2018, I don't remember the dates, that was trained on Reddit comments. Once again, whatever you ask, if you just ask hello there, it will just reply with General Kenobi. Star Wars reference, if you get it, good. If you don't get it, that's fine. Right? So it depends on what type of data you're training it on. but leave it. Anything else? Last question? Yes.
It's learning that like supervised, we know like supervised learning. So
Yeah.
what is the best for create for it?
Like which platform I need my
Like supervised learning is something like it all the data and supervised like the test.
So I have used, personally speaking, I am a fan of TensorFlow Keras model, like that actually helps you out mostly. There are Amazon, like so AWS provides a lot of compute services as well, and GPT-4 subscription also gives you access to tuning, fine-tuning your models, like you are familiar with it now. So it will give you access to that specific model-wise. I am sorry, but I'm not okay with that much. So yeah. Anything else? Yes.
सर जैसा कि आपने बोला कि ये हम कस्टमाइज जीपीटीज बना सकते हैं तो जैसे कि चैट जीपीटी में 2 + 2 4 को 5 एक बंदे ने
You can classify it, yes.
तो सर वो ओला में इस में भी प्रॉपर हो सकता है कि हमको
No, it's just a language model. You can guess like it. If you are good enough, you can guess like anything. You just need to be manipulative. That's it. Right? So you can learn it too. It's okay. Okay. Anyways, before we end our session, I wanted to ask ChatGPT to create a few things, and let's just go to this one. So I asked Lali that because we are talking about bug bounty and everything, and the mental health session was going on, and it's fun. So I just said, yeah, hacker was very happy that we got a bug bounty. And once again, these are image generation models. It's just generating images. These are not on the internet. It's not a Google search, right? So you'll notice a lot of mistakes. Now it's good with hands. Okay. The thing is, it wasn't before. So sometimes you will get people or images with like 2 fingers or 10, or like you probably get a little option in there. So it depends. It depends, right? Then make him more happy, as if that's how real life would work, and then he gets very happy. Now if you notice, that's about his hand. We have a Dr. Octopus over here, but yeah, no. Not here. Anyway, then I said, hey, making sad because mental health session was going on, and I wanted to see how happy looks sad. Look in the mirror. Anyway, make him sad now because he just found out that the vulnerability he found was a duplicate. Now instead of money, he's only getting some Hall of Fame. A lot of you guys can relate to that, and he's duplicate is only receiving Hall of Fame recognition, and there's a certificate. It's also really bad with spelling. So the Hall of Fame spelling is fine, but recognition is something else. Okay, probably what they are from that, okay, but it exists, right? And that's basically it. If you these once again are my, you can go there and say, oh, now you guys will be pleased to have a QR code, but this is where you can find more information about me. Slight shameless plug. I also have a YouTube channel. I don't post much. I used to do cybersecurity.